So if you have the P at the end, this is what they say is going on for you. You like to be adaptive, going with the flow. Again, I think that's rude because I know my INTP partner, he's very much more, his TI is kind of aggravated when things do not go to plan. Like his TI SI. Because SI is kind of aggravated if things don't go to plan. And so if you're an INTP and you have SI in the third tertiary position, the child's position, it can sometimes throw tantrums when people go off of course, they go off task, they arrive late to things, they change plans on you in an instant. And I've noticed that. Whereas me, I'm much more adaptable in that sense, because I'm kind of relying on my NITE problem solving. Whenever things go off course, I'm like, well, that's just how people are in reality. I'm a pragmatist. Sometimes people have to change their plans due to their circumstances. I'm analyzing different perspectives, different ways that people live their lives and individual differences, so I'm not as thrown when someone cancels last minute. I may be disappointed. It may hit me in the feels, in my FI, but I'm not going to be so aggravated or really hold it against the person, and I'm able to reorient and adjust due to my problem solving. Whereas someone with a perceiving P at the end might not be as adaptable. Just think about it. Oh, and another one I was thinking about is the ISTP. And TI in general can be uncompromising and stubborn. But if you have an ISTP and they have introverted intuition in their third tertiary child position, in the third position, NI can be extraordinarily stubborn and fixated on one course of action. They can really lock in. And so if the ISTP is working based off of its TI systems, and it's fueled by that NI course of action, these types of rugged ISTP individuals can accomplish anything. It's really impressive. It gives them the cool factor. But it's not necessarily adaptive. What makes ISTPs adaptive is going to be the SE, which maybe that's what it's saying. I think extroverted intuition is very adaptable, adaptive, but I have observed with ENFPs that they can suddenly jump to a conclusion or fixate on something in sort of an unhealthy way, and they kind of focus on one possibility, and they're not jumping to the multiple possibilities. So an INTJ might help an ENFP by being like, hey, this is weird for you. Usually you're thinking of all of these different things that can happen, and that's like almost more comforting for you. But now that you're jumping to this conclusion, you're freaked out. But like, have you considered that you've narrowed down to this conclusion incorrectly? There might be other factors at play, and there might be more possibilities and more of a future that you have inadvertently and artificially ruled out because of some weird freak out you're having. I don't know. I feel like INTJs can have the opposite problem, where we're overwhelmed by too much sensory information, right? So in that way, I feel like INTJs and ENFPs are kind of a good match because their fourth is SI and our fourth is SE, so we can relate but not relate at the same time. It's like we're coming from different directions, which tends to work out in an interesting way. Okay, so if you have the perceiving function at the end, prefer to keep options open for change and adaptation, letting life happen, keeping ideas open. SE's kind of interesting because I have noticed with extroverted sensing, almost like consumerism. So like almost like a grabbing for objects. Grab, 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 consume, consume, consume. And extroverted sensing kind of being relevant in that space or status of of grabbing and accumulating all of these sensory objects. So that's kind of a weird tendency I've noticed. It's interesting. Okay, like to live in an open-ended way. Are energized by deadlines and last-minute rushes, so procrastination. Access many projects and tasks randomly to avoid the anxiety of missing opportunities. I think, judging or perceiving these descriptors, I don't know if I agree with this dichotomy, and I don't think you can dichotomize this. Yeah, I don't quite think I love the definitions here. And if I were you, as someone learning about this, I would definitely not necessarily rely upon the MBTI letters, but definitely understand the cognitive functions themselves.